Noella, you're a Mandela Washington Fellow.
Yeah, as the founder of Talk Pregnancy with Dr. Noella, when I started this, I didn't know where I was going to. I didn't even know it was actually going to end up in an organization. And some people even come, even to call the name, they cannot call it. So we already know that you have not done your background search. You cannot be coming for an interview. I said, I'm going to knock at your door at each moment. I'm going to send you my application at each time to review and send the corrections. And the day I saw congratulations, I was like, seriously? So it was really, really a dream come true. And after that program, it has been marvelous. It has been great.
Welcome to D2AFRICA Stories, your unique podcast on the scientific leadership in Africa. We highlight visionary Africans who are transforming science, health, and the continent's future. I am Dr. Loria Funu, and my mission with D2AFRICA Stories podcast is to help you thrive and transform life starting from anywhere. If you are new on this channel, if it's the first time for you to listen to us or to see us, please consider subscribing for more content that will transform for sure your life. And this subscription helps us more than you know, because it will help us to reach out to more impactful leader that you need to transform also your life and become the talent, the leader that Africa needs. And for today's episode, I've discussed with someone who, despite her young age, has decided to not settle for comfort. She has decided to move out of her comfort zone to change the situation for many pregnant women and babies in Cameroon and also in Africa. The discussion around the topic of today is something that also matters a lot for me, because I'm also a mother, and I realized that this problem of child mortality or pregnant women mortality during labor is something that is so much and still prevalent in my country, Cameroon, but also in other countries in Africa and in other low and middle resource countries. And with this guest, you will see that our passion resonate. We see that despite not having the path to change the life of people, she has decided to start. She has decided to create something better for other persons. And today's guest is Dr. Gwanyama Noella, a passionate medical professional, leader, and advocate for transformative change in healthcare. Noella is the founder of Talk Pregnancy with Dr. Noella, and she's talking only about pregnancy and improving maternal and neonatal health. She has been impacting a lot of mothers, families, and babies in Cameroon, and she's still striving for excellence, and she's driven by a commitment to excellence and innovation. Her works inspires others to lead with purpose, embrace their passion, and make a lasting difference in their communities. Without further ado, let's get started. Okay, Noella, you have
Yes.
won you are a Mandela Washington Fellow. This program, which is designed specifically to empower African leaders. Have you ever dreamed of winning such a prestigious fellowship?
Well, thank you very much, Nuvia, for having me here. It's really an honor to be on this platform, and I appreciate you for the work you're doing. Thank you very much. And just before answering your question, Dr. Gwanyama Noella, I'm a medical doctor, and yeah, as the founder of Talk Pregnancy with Dr. Noella, starting up was not like I actually pictured the end. I had to just start because I had this burning desire in me to promote health, maternal and neonatal health. So I actually started up, and when I was going and everything was going on well, and we started seeing the impact of our work. And thanks to some mentors, they actually introduced me to the Mandela Washington Fellowship. I've never ever heard about it. I heard, but like I think that was like 2 years, 2 to 3 years of my work. And they said, no, this program is for you. I said, okay, let me take a look at the program and see what it is all about. I read about the program, saw how prestigious the program was, and I said, okay, let me take a shot for it. And it was not only taking a shot, I believed it was the right program for me. And I did not just want to dive into it without even knowing how to go about the application process. So I had to seek out for mentorship. I reached out to a mentor who is also an alumni and told him I want to go in for this program. He said, yes, go in for it. That's a good program for you. I said, I'm going to knock at your door at each moment. I'm going to send you my application at each time to review and send the corrections. And I did that. He followed me up and it was really, really strenuous. I didn't know that's how the program was, the application process was. And the day I saw congratulations, I was like, seriously? So it was really, really a dream come true. And after that program, it has been marvelous. It has been great.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. So after that, I've seen that you have also won and received several awards
Wow.
and notable accolades and grants, like the award of the best elevator pitch at the University of Delaware in the US. You also won the award of the most assertive fellow still during the MWPF, and you have other grants that you won in Sustainable Development Goal. How does it feel all to have all this accolade and recognition from your peers?
The feeling is, at least it makes you fulfilled in the work you're doing. It just tells you that you're doing great, and it's actually a time to know that people expect more again from you. They always say the reward of great work is more work. So when I have all these, it's like, yeah, what I do, people recognize the great work I do, the impact we create, and I just see it as a way just to boost my confidence and to keep me going, to know that the impact we are creating, people are actually getting it. And that's what we want. That's the satisfaction we get. Because it's not really all about the awards and all that, but it's just the impact. It shows that the impact is real. And getting the award from the best elevator pitch, it was actually I don't know how to really put it. It just sounds fulfilling because I was able to bring out the emotions in the work, in the passion, in the work that we do. Maternal mortality and neonatal mortality, that's something we should not even hear about, but it happens. So bringing in that emotion and actually winning in, it just tells me how passionate I am doing the work that I'm doing, and others can reflect, they can see that passion in me. So I just think that those are with awards and all that. Then when it comes to grants, winning some grants, it's really great because we are able to create the impact. Because when it comes to starting up an NGO, it's not easy. It's always like, how do we go further? How is it sustainable? How do we carry out the projects we have at hand? There are times when we have projects, but we can't carry them out because the funds are not available. So when we have such grants, we are thankful to the donors for that, for believing in the work that we want to do and the impact of the work we are creating in the community. And we want to really thank all our funders for that. We really appreciate. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Noella. You talked about emotion, you talked about passion. At the beginning, you talked about your burning desire.
Mm.
Can you just now tell us what was this burning desire? What happened in your soul that make you create this NGO that is now bringing you toward the world?
Well, I always like to say my story wherever, because that's the inspiration that drives every young person out there. at times people see disappointments and maybe remain in that disappointment. They see it and maybe they see like that's the end of them. But I took a kind of maybe disappointed situation and came up with something positive. It was actually during my first pregnancy. As a medical doctor, I just completed, I got married, and I was working at the regional hospital, Bamenda, which is the main referral hospital in the Northwest region. And working there, I was working at the maternity section, dealing with mother and child, pregnant women, and seeing everything that they go through. You see a woman coming today, the next moment, maybe the baby that was in her womb has died, or the next moment, the woman has even passed away. It gave me that I was so passionate about them. And I just had in mind that how can I help these women? But it did not really come, that desire was not really strong enough to start it up. But during that, my first pregnancy, everything went on well. You know, when women they are pregnant, they have the vomiting, the weakness, the speed, the tired, they cannot do a lot of things. But to me, I was doing nearly everything until sometimes I even forget that I was pregnant. So I was, oh, I'm the doctor. Yes, everything is fine. Everything went on well, but I just knew that looking at women and the trends, you see a woman having everything going on well, and at the end, things change. So I just knew that maybe too, you might also be, because just the fact that I'm a medical doctor does not mean that I cannot also maybe fall into that kind of situation. I'm still a pregnant woman, and I'm still exposed to danger. And during 9 months, I said, okay, let me just go and check and make sure that everything is okay before maybe if labor has to start. And I went to the radiologist on checking. They're like, he stayed only checking. I was, what's happening? What's the problem? Until I even had to go into some distress. You know, when a pregnant woman lies down on her back for long, she tends to have difficulties in breathing. When I got up, he still told me, lie down, let me check. Ask, what's happening? Tell me, I'm your colleague. Let me know what's happening. And when he checked, he told me that there is already a knot around the baby's neck, and the baby it's already at the verge of suffocation. So if we have to wait just a little bit, it means maybe we might be coming when this baby is dead. I was like, what do you mean? He said, just go and see your gynecologist. As I went, I met the gynecologist. He discussed with other doctors, and they said, no, let's not even wait. Immediately, we went for a cesarean section. And by the time my husband even had to go home and bring the things, they had already done the cesarean section because they had to remove this baby as fast as possible. And after that, I suffered with some spinal headaches, which I mean, it was severe. I didn't know that that's how it was. So I was like, I benefited from this, that quick action. And even with some complications after delivery, I was able to survive this because of the expertise and the early services rendered. How can I help other women out there who don't know about this? And even when I came home, many people were like, ah, doctor, you were operated upon, so you could not push as well. Were you weak to push? So that's when I realized that there were also some misconceptions about cesarean section. I just decided to, rather than using my Facebook page to just maybe post like pictures, today I'm doing this, today I'm doing that. It's not helping anybody. How can I help women out there? The main thing at first was to just clear the air about these cesarean sections. And when I started, I saw many people interested in it, many people asking me other questions. How do you do this? What is this? What? And that was how I just started all this. And it actually ended up in an organization now, impacting over millions of people across the globe.
Wow. That is inspiring and it's resonating with me because I think I met you through one of your posts on LinkedIn, not through the other pages, but through one of your
Yeah.
posts mentioning your passion about solving maternal and neonatal health issue. Be also from Cameroon. I think we had a bit similar story. Mine, I also had the chance of having my kids healthy, but at a certain point, I've seen a lot of women having their baby dying
Yeah.
so many times, but I wasn't feeling like I was concerned enough because it was still far. It's for my second pregnancy that I had two close friends.
Mm-hmm.
We were pregnant at the same
Mm-hmm.
moment. Both of them lost their baby, and one
Oh,
almost passed away.
wow.
So that moment,
You.
for the second one, like I felt it on
Mm-hmm.
me. I see my son now, like the one that have passed
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
I was spent 6 months not knowing what I was going to do. What was this world where people are just dying like this? Why me? Am I still safe? What have I done? Because they were also from the health sectors. They also did this more precaution than me even. But the baby didn't survive. One almost passed away. So I started feeling that something was different now. I had to change now something. I was working in food
Yeah.
safety or I was working in animals.
Mm-hmm.
I put everything aside. I say, okay, let me start seeing what is happening in this world of neonatal infection, maternal death, and starting working on that because this is not normal that
Yeah.
we are in 2024 or in 28. It was in 2020, I think. People are still dying. Like we are just, I call it a tossing game. You go in labor, you don't know if you will survive or not. And you feel like it is normal. It's fatality. It's not normal, actually. It's
No,
not normal.
no, not at all.
It's not normal.
At all.
It's not
Yeah.
normal. But now we live like it is normal. We assume that when you go through labor, you may not come back, and you feel like it's normal. So that's
Yeah.
something that really affected me a lot. And when I saw your post, I said, "This is someone I should connect to directly," because I was wondering if I'm the one to
Only
be
one.
crazy. I'm the only one to see this thing as an issue. And then I say, no, no, I'm not alone. Actually, there's
No,
a lot of crazy women like me now. So we are going to be crazy together.
together. Exactly.
Yeah. And
Absolutely.
I see what you were doing on your pages. I saw the pages. You have a lot of followers. You have to tell us a bit what you are doing again in TikToks, YouTube, to empower and sensitivity. This is really someone I should connect to because you are doing a lot of work. You have started the process far before me. And it's important for people to realize that if you are lucky, because I felt like this was luck for me, it's also an injustice because why have I done? I have not done anything. So this favor I had is for me to help other one not pass through that again. So that's why I created this channel, this podcast, also to come and say people you should also try to change something. And that's why I want to come back to now. Oh, now you like you started with your burning desire. You didn't have money, you didn't have nothing. You start working on that. How have you done that? Now you have employees, you have a campaign that you are running like every month.
Mm-hmm.
How have you done that?
Yeah, that's really, and seriously, I admire your boldness to come out to that. That's really something that we should really come out and speak out to help other people. It's not easy to actually come out and talk about it. I admire you, and thank you too for reaching out. It was really, really great to have people when we talk about one or two things, the impact is actually more. So just starting, at first when I started this, I didn't know where I was going to. I didn't even know it was actually going to end up in an organization. I just had I just had to send the information out. I knew that this information had to go out. And getting now from there, when I started getting the impact, I saw many people coming up to me. I had a cesarean section before. How can I do now to have another cesarean section? Because many people want a cesarean section, always a cesarean section. So I said, no, that's not the case. And I have three kids now. The second and the third are all vaginal delivery. I followed a lot of procedures, precautions, and all that. So it was first of all the ability, just willingness to serve others. That was the first thing. And When I just started, when people usually come to my post, there was somebody who came to my post and actually made a statement. There are people in the suburbs. This information you're giving is so important. It's like it's only those who are using the internet now are going to get this here information. How can you reach out to those people in the suburbs? I was like, okay, that's a good idea. If I have to go out, you're going to be my first volunteer. That was how I just told him direct, because I mean, it was someone I knew. So when he said that, I said, if I'm going into the community, you're going to be my first volunteer. Are you ready for that? He said, yes, he's very ready. I said, okay. And I attended one or two conferences because I saw that this is leading somewhere. I decided to attend one or two conferences on leadership because I knew that this getting more into leadership. It's no longer about being a doctor. I said, yeah. I started attending leadership programs, at least just paying someone a few ones that needed just like 5,000 CFA francs, 10,000 CFA francs. I attended one and I met one lady there. I told her I wanted to go into the community, but what I'm doing is not even registered into the community. What will I go and say, or how will I even gather people? She told me, because she also had some programs that she has carried out. She said, this my organization is not even registered, but see the work I've done. I was like, wow. So how did you do it? She told me that, so imagine yourself if you go to a hospital and say you want to help one or two patients. Will the owner of the hospital tell you that, where is your registration document? Will they not just say, okay, help them? I was like, okay, wow, that's a nice statement. And giving my portfolio to as a medical doctor, going to talk to people, I just knew that they will believe me because I am a medical doctor. I know what I'm saying. It's just like in the, maybe you have your groups, you can have your one or two groups, you can just stand up and say, I have one or two advice to give to the women in this group. They will listen to you because you are a medical doctor and you know what you're talking about. That was how I just set up. I just called one or two people. I called that volunteer who was ready. I said, okay, I want to create our first on-site program. Are you ready? He said he's ready to come. And I called one or two people. They accepted. Met some of my colleagues, doctors. I met them. Can you come and join me? Let's go and talk to these people about this. They said, yes, no problem. Let's go. And we just went to a church. We just went and announced that we have some health talks to give after church service. So those who are interested, they can just come, and it's just like 30 to 1 hour if they're interested to hear. We just gave an excerpt of what we're going to talk about. And boom, we saw people who finished church and came. We're like, wow, this is serious. Without any money, without any money, without any money. That was how we did the first project. We just saw that it does not need a lot of money to start. And that's where many organizations start up. That's where they fail. Before they want to start having grants from WHO, UN, it's not that way. They don't even know you. They don't trust you yet. So you can't be fighting to have grants from them to start, or to have large or maybe a huge sum of money before starting. Now I actually do a program where I even help young people who want to start up with some organizations on tips on how to start and how to use social media, because I think that social media, this was where I got the plus, because everything I leverage the use of social media. I started watching how to present yourself on social media, how to post on social media, how to make flyers. I started designing my own flyers. So that was how because people have to see what you are doing. People have to see what, yes. And that was how, when I started doing one or two things, I put it up on social media. I used social media in everything that I was doing. Sometimes other programs, I'll just put a flyer and call people. I can call a doctor who comes up. I see maybe the many questions are coming in, and maybe I'll better bring in an expert to talk about that. I create Facebook live shows and many people joined. Many people came up with it. And with that, I started again. I said, no, let me even dive into YouTube. When I entered YouTube, I mean, in less than 6 months, I had over 5,000 to 6,000 subscribers. I was, wow. So that was how my social media. So at the end, I always say, use social media for a positive impact. So that was
Mm.
how it actually started, and it went out, and we apply for grants now, and anybody is able to type and see what you're doing and believe in the work that you're doing. And sometimes we, like the one time we actually did not have funds for that, we decided to come up with a fundraising. We said one or two people, how much, this is what we want to do, like to help vulnerable pregnant women who could not really afford their pregnancies, because from my experience, early diagnosis of complications is paramount for both the mother and the child health. And it is during that antenatal consultations we rallied some one or two people. We said, okay, if a woman has to go through antenatal consultations to delivery, how much is it? We said, we decided, okay, let's go and meet one or two people to support us. We reach the hospital, reach one or two people. The funds that came in, we say, okay, it can support this number of women. And we went out now, we met some one or two people, set out announcements and said, if you have someone who needs this follow-up. That was how we even had more than the number. Yes, and we had to stream it to the funds that we had. And that was the impact that we created. Yeah, so that was how we have been going through and up
Wow.
to now.
It's inspiring. I like the way you leverage social media and the way you did your personal branding to match it to your own life, personal and professional life now. But I'm wondering, being medical doctor, when you finish medical school, have you ever dreamed of this life like this, or were you still in the hospital?
That's very, very important, because even up to now, some doctors still ask me that, but what made you to start this? How did you how did you? Because sometimes, and it was after the Mandela Washington Fellowship, many people came up to me. So it was that their small, you get that small talk pregnancy with Dr. Noella that has taken you to the US and back.
Pretty much.
That was when they started, because when start, many people don't believe in what you're doing, but you know where you're going to. Yes. So after, when I was doing maybe like just the medical doctor in the office and seeing things beyond, I was more of, how can I prevent this, rather than just receiving and seeing the
Mm,
pains once, over and
mm,
over, over and over. Is there a way that I can prevent this? That was what got me thinking. And when I just started that, like I said, I saw the trends in which it was going through. I knew that there is more. So I had to meet mentors. I met mentors and we were asking them, how do I go about this? How do I do this? Even when I wanted to start the organization, I met a mentor. I asked him, how do I go about this? He linked me up to another medical doctor who has started up an NGO. I went to her. She also gave me one or two advices. I knew that I knew nothing about that. I knew nothing about it. So it's very important to mentorship. Nigerians always say, I tell everybody, Nigerians always use that this thing, follow who know road. So those who know the road, follow them. Follow them. Yes, you should not be suffering over something when there is somebody there who just give you an insight and your mind is just open. Yes. And it's very important to know who you trust. People that if you reach out to them, they'll give you the good information because of their good interest for you. There are others who say, who is, yes, this. Sometimes I can invite some people, they don't come because, it is a new kind of who want be talking, yes. But some others actually came. And so those things, you need to be able to differentiate those who give you the right information and those who give you, maybe who are coming in there for something different. It's very important. Yeah, so that was how mentorship was something. And I was very smart enough to, like, I have to know this, but how do I do this? I met someone, I tell this is what I want to do. They'll tell me do like this, do one or two things this way. It's better to do like this than this way. Yeah. So that was how I actually came out from that. And maybe just to go a little bit, that's why I started this when I was already working. I saw that medical students, once they finish, is like, okay, I just have to go find a good job, find this, I'm working this, and I just go and consult, and that's all. Yes,
Exactly.
yes. So,
That's not me. You said that. So that's I'm not the one who said
yeah,
that. Thank you.
no, that's no, seriously, especially now, that was the trend. I was like, many people have to know about this. I discovered this maybe when I was already working. I'm not saying late because to me it's not late. That was my own time. But how can I help others? Because maybe I believe that if I knew it earlier, maybe even like things like my research and all that would have been guided. Yes. So if you can know it earlier, it's better so that you're targeted from beginning and you have somewhere you already know where you're going to. Always know your target. You know you're intentional about anything you do. So I started up with a what we call the Cameroon Young Physician Network, where we actually started doing the first annual conference with young medical doctors and medical students, leveraging that even as a medical doctor, you can also be, because you might be too in a leadership position, you might be a director of a place, you might be the chief of center, you might be this person. And there are many people there, young doctors who were in big positions like directors in some hospitals, private hospitals, and they are sending their resignation letters. They were females, they are sending their resignation letters that they cannot be, they cannot, they are too young to maybe direct big doctors in that kind of center. Yes. And from there they were inspired by other doctors who were young, because we brought out a panel of other young medical doctors doing different things: community engagement, leadership, public health. Yeah, we brought them in, and they saw that it is not only about that. There are other things. How can you leverage? You might be a medical doctor, but you're best at maybe public speaking. You can do public speaking, TED Talks as a medical doctor, yes, but they don't know, many people don't know about it. So we had to create that light. We had to bring that into light. So that's how the passion has been going on and inspiring many others. Yeah.
That's really inspiring. I hope they will listen to this podcast today, to your episode, and have also inspiration. At
Yeah.
least you managed to reduce neonatal mortality by 10% at the regional hospital Bamenda. What action have you implemented to achieve this reduction? Because neonatal mortality is really an issue globally, especially in sub-Saharan Africa. So what you yourself have you done in this hospital to make it reduce by 10%, which is a lot?
Yeah. With working at the regional hospital, it exposed me a lot because I worked both in the maternity and in the neonatology unit. And when I was in the neonatology unit, I was heading the neonatal death audit team. And being part of the maternal and neonatal death audit team, we were able to actually, the whole team, discuss on the various causes. And we saw that, especially before the crisis, we even had a double, going up to triple increase in the number of maternal mortality and even neonatal mortality. They all increased because of the socio-political crisis in the Northwest region. And that is where we saw that most of the cases were due to late arrival in the hospital, late arrival, not even late management, because they don't even come to the hospital early. And we saw again that why don't they come to the hospital early is because some of them don't even know most of the danger signs, and they start antenatal consultations very late, when they come in, when most of the complications have already set in. And most of the cases we receive are referred cases from the hinterlands, those that have already tried and done all the things that they could do. So by the time they are reaching us, it's usually already late. So as a whole team, we had to look for like some strategies. The gynecologists were there, the head of the sexual and reproductive health in the Northwest region. They were all there. We all had to bring up solutions, wherein they brought up solutions like starting up, ensuring early identifications of high risk pregnant women, where if you see a woman, for example, who has a scar, that's a woman who has been operated before, should not be managed maybe in this kind of hospital. You should already be ready to, yes, a woman who has delivered, for example, 5 times, who is coming maybe for the sixth pregnancy, you should not treat her as the first pregnancy. Yeah, so these were all the things which were discussed during the meeting, and through this it has disseminated to the whole region, and one or two ideas have been set in, and that's how we were able to at least reduce the number of neonatal mortality, especially in the hospital. So most of at the regional level, because we do at the hospital level, and the regional level actually takes the final decision from that, and that was how most of the cases have been managed. And I think we should be reducing. We are hoping that it keeps on reducing as time goes on.
Okay. Have you found something to make them come early at the hospital or to make them arrive on time at the hospital?
I think now, let's say personally, for my organization, what we do, because let's say like in the hospital and in the general level, I would just like to even thank our minister who just started with the universal health coverage, where maybe you pay just of 6,000 francs CFA for your whole pregnancy till delivery, and if there's any complication, it's all in that package, and that's really something which will go a long way. And it just started, I think it's not even up to 3 to 4 months that it just started. So I think in the long run we'll be seeing the impact of that. But as Talk Pregnancy with Dr. Noella, with the organization, what we did is to actually we reach out to we had one grant where we went into suburbs, into these areas highly affected by crisis. In order to bring women who were pregnant, we decided to do a free screening campaign for all pregnant women, looking for the most common complications that occur during pregnancy, like hypertension, urinary tract infection, malaria, ultrasound scans. And we were able to provide this to over 200 pregnant women in the womb health district. And there we actually identified women with urinary tract infections, severe malaria, who were admitted and treated immediately, and we linked them up, because this was done after a training for the community health workers to be able to reach out into the community, bring out those women, bring them to the hospital at any time, let them know the importance of antenatal consultations. We did the training, then the second part was to do the screening. And there we screened these women, we identified them, we managed complications early, and all the women were registered now for antenatal consultations. Those who were not maybe at that district hospital, they were far off. We linked them up now with community health workers to ensure continuation of care in their various health facilities. And I believe that with this, it increased the number of antenatal consultations, and definitely early identifications of complications. And with the training of the health personnel and community health workers, it's a long-standing thing. Once we have trained them, they already know the importance, and they keep on doing the work ahead. So that's how we can say we have reached out to that. We have also increased sensitization. Because the important thing is, if you don't know what the danger is, you will not consider it as a danger. So we keep on sensitizing people, and I think many people have been coming for that, and we believe it's working.
Yeah. If you don't know what the danger is, you will not come on hospital. That's so true. Again, I had another story like this also with my second son
Mhm.
because I was going at the hospital
Yeah.
for my first one who has otitis in the morning. It
Okay.
was 18 months. I think the second one was 3 months or 6 months or so. That day in the morning, I was just going with one kid at the hospital. Before going, I was just about to go. The nanny told me that she said something, and then I didn't hear. I said, "What are you saying?" I said, "No, it's nothing." No, I said, "No, tell me, what is it?" She said, "No, Jason had just one diarrhea." I look at her like, "What? Just one?" She said, "No, it's just one. It's
Just
nothing.
one.
Maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's the teeth. Maybe it's." I said, okay." I just say, "Okay, let me go with both of them." So I went with the pediatrician with both of them, with one of the best pediatrician, the best structure. I arrived. She prescribed for the first one, the antibiotics, everything for the otitis. And she asked me, "What about the second one?" I said, "Okay, he has one. He had one diarrhea this morning." She stared at me like, "What?" She said, "No, he had just one diarrhea this morning." "Okay, is it itching?" "Yes." "Is it a fever?" "No." "What else?" "Nothing. It's just this one." "Okay, now that you are here, I have to do exam and prescribe you." So she had to. She said, It does not look like he's sick, but still, for the peace of our mind, I will prescribe you some test, and we see. So we went to the lab. We did
Wow.
the test, like blood test,
Mm-hmm.
blood count,
Mm-hmm.
urine testing. She prescribed the normal urine test, but I'm microbiologist,
Yeah.
so I did her urine test and my urine culture and and blood smear,
Yes.
everything. So
Mhm.
I did her one. And it came out that the guy he had anemia, he
Wow.
had malaria, and he
Wow.
had pyelonephritis. So I say, okay, because the urine test has 10,000 leukocytes. I say, okay.
Oh,
Now that I put the urine culture, I said, let me just wait
yes.
and pray that there is no resistance to the drugs
The
now,
drugs. Yeah.
because I know that we have resistance for babies. And in fact, she prescribed something the same day,
Mm-hmm.
a drug the same day. I saw the result by WhatsApp.
Mm-hmm.
She prescribed something.
Wow.
So I think it was cephalosporin or something about third generation
Yes.
cephalosporin. I bought
Self-esteem.
it, they start took it. I say, okay, let me just pray that it's sensitive. Let me just pray. And 2 days later, I just opened, I was just looking at susceptible. Susceptible. I say, okay, what she prescribed was there and
Was.
susceptible. But he had resistant bacteria. He had an E. coli that was resistant to
Mm-hmm.
other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It was multiple resistant E. coli, but by chance, it
Well,
was
it was highly
susceptible to this
susceptible.
antihistamine, and he got well. I say, okay, what would have happened then now if I have not been at the hospital with him in this day? Imagine because it's so easy
Wow.
for babies to have then sepsis
Yeah.
just with UTI
UTI.
infection.
Mm-hmm.
So, so that made me realize that, okay, people are really dying now in this world. Now people are certainly really dying. That there's no way to be like have the chance to have all these things at the same moment, the money and the doctor to have him still well now. That
Yeah.
means people are having a lot of issue. But I think we don't realize it well
Yeah.
because people
That's
don't
true.
talk a lot. And what you say about doing this campaign that you do, that usually looks like so small. People don't realize the impact it can have
Impact.
in mother's life and baby's life,
Yeah.
because urinary tract infection can cause
Delivery. Yeah.
preterm birth
Mm-hmm.
and even neonatal sepsis, neonatal
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
infection can create severe infection.
Yeah.
People don't realize that by doing this kind of investigation, you are helping and you are saving, in fact, life. And it's something that is so neglected that I'm just wondering, how can we make it be more broad? Because it's supposed to be normal,
It,
but it's
yeah.
not yet so spreading everywhere in the world, or at least in our context where we have this kind of issue.
Issue. Yeah.
How can we do to make sure that it happen more largely and more quickly?
Yep. I think that's like from everything we know now the world is getting digital. Every yes, if you have to do something to go far, you can use the or reach a diverse group of people at the same time. You have to be able to use the social media. So I think even what we are doing now is already is next step forward to that. So it's already the beginning of getting more people knowledgeable about this and creating the awareness about the importance of maybe health, maternal and neonatal health in general, women's health, adolescent health, and still creating and supporting other organizations that are dealing with such things.
Mm,
Yes, because
mhm,
if it's about partnership, knowing that people are talking the same thing and refreshing your minds on the new aspects. That's why even with our organization, we started what we call preconception care campaign. That's action on preconception care. This is actually something which is not routinely practiced in Cameroon. When we talk about
mhm,
preconception care, people don't even know about it. People don't even know what it is all about. That's the care every woman or couple has to take before, at least 3 months before they get pregnant. And this, if you see, the World Health Organization has spoken about the benefits of preconception care. Other organizations dealing with sexual and reproductive health, it is part of sexual and reproductive health. But do we hear people talking about it? No. People don't talk about it. That's why we came up with this concept to what was the first step that we did before we wanted to launch this this preconception care project. We reach out to the delegation because we reach out, we got maybe like one or two insights from gynecologists, from sexual and reproductive health experts on preconception care. They say yes, this is actually something which is good, but it's many people don't even know about it. You, so that's when we knew that it is important, because sometimes you might be talking about something but it's not maybe it's, yes, it's not important, it's not giving the impact you want. So we had to first of all sample and see, to be sure that what we are going in for is something needed at that time, it's going to help people, it's going to change the statistics. So that's why we went into it. And before we're launching, we had to invite the focal point person for sexual and reproductive health in the Northwest, who also doubles as the representative of the regional delegate of the Northwest region. And he was there to actually launch the project. And what do? We started by inviting other organizations dealing with sexual and reproductive health, and including, we made sure that we include those organizations also dealing with people with disabilities to ensure inclusion. That was how we trained over 15 CSOs, civil society organizations, on sexual on preconception care. And at the end, the feedback was, I mean, most, I think about 80 to 85% of these people had not heard about this concept of preconception care and its importance. We brought in the other gynecologists, we brought in pediatricians to talk about the importance. And that was how they were able to know about this concept of preconception care. And behold, we're lucky again, and like some months or two later, we had an organization that actually won a grant with preconception care. The person included preconception care in the this and had a German grant. And that showed us the impact of the work we are doing. And that's how they have been including preconception care in their, maybe their health talks. That's how, in order to do this, we need to see how to involve other partners, to involve other stakeholders, to involve the government in it and bring out the change. Yes. So that's how we have been doing, and that's the importance. So you use social media, use connections, collaboration is key in all this, because you cannot do the work alone. You need other people to do it. Supporting other startups, helping other people. They are the ones, maybe some are in the suburbs in a way that you might not reach there, but they will reach there. So you support them. How do they start? How do you help them? That's how you do. And I think with this kind of mentality, if maybe many people or leaders of organizations have this mentality, it's going to go a long way to promote health and increase the sensitization in the population.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's so true. That's so true. Inclusivity and partnership is really important.
Mhm.
But now, knowing that, because you mentioned something earlier, you mentioned that you have to know the person who is here just for some kind of interest, and who is
Mhm.
just here to take something and not even orientate you. But how do you know? You see that you have to know, but how do we know now? How do we know? Because the person can take everything and go. So how do you know that you have the right person in collaborate with?
Yeah, that's one thing, because I always believe that I'm a Christian. I always go with my guts and I pray. I always pray whenever I have a project. I always pray for the right partnership. I always pray for the right person to meet, because most of the times I always tell myself that I need just one person. I don't need to maybe have like five partners and all that. No. Sometimes you just need just one person to take you up to the next level. And I'm always conscious about that. And just even go to that, maybe just from that project, you don't even believe that after that project, there was one organization who attended, who went to their website, said they organized this project. Everything as though they were the ones. Then just put me there. Now, Dr. Noella came and threw
Oh,
insights on
oh,
malformations on.
oh, really? That's
Yes,
good.
yes.
Oh
And
my
the,
God.
the strategy, that's why I say social media too does not lie. And the internet, your things, it does not lie. Before we wanted to go into this, we knew that this is something which maybe some people might steal, it's normal. You might do all this and some people come and like, yeah, they were the ones who used. But before even carrying out that project, we had already launched the project online. So, yes, we already launched the project online, saying the next activity. It was already clearly stated like some months before we actually carried out the project. Yes. So when this person came up, I saw the link, and me, I'm so, because if this was where I saw the benefits of being maybe online, being on social media, knowing how to manipulate things. Because if maybe I was not online, we just posted this and that was, or maybe that work would have just gone, and maybe you never know. Somebody might say, no, it was this organization that did the work. Yes. And so these are some kind of things that when we see, they all happen. You might say maybe someone has taken a fund somewhere and they'll say this was the project they did, when actually, yes. So when I saw that, I had to reach out to, like, it's normal communication. You have to communicate well as a leader. They always tell us, yes, in kind of this kind of conflict. And I reached out to them. I was like, how can you put this post as though it was your project? And the only thing, it was not even mentioned talk pregnancy with Dr. Nuela anywhere. It just showed that Dr. Nuela came in as a facilitator and spoke about malformations in. So you can you can see these kind of things. So yeah,
That's
and
true.
yes, that was how we had to call like legal department, and he advised us on actually what to do. And we reached out to them and we told them that in the next 24 hours we should see that project, that this thing down. And before they want to put up the project, like they were part of, it's okay for them to say they were part of the listing. Yes, and put it on their page, no problem. They should send the listing to us. We confirm before they put it up. And that was how they sent it and they put it up. But with those kind of dishonesty, I don't think you can ever have a project to work with them again. I don't think I can go back to work with them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because going
Yeah.
back to work with them is like you've seen the giant and you're going to, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with
Yeah.
those one or two things, those are some strategies that we use. We use social media. And even when we want to create partnership, we know exactly what we are asking you to bring in. Yes.
Mhm.
And when we see that, we don't give you everything at once. We tell you that this is what we want to do. And if you're interested, we say, okay, this is what we want to do. If you're interested, this is how we want it to go about, and this is the budget. If you're able to come up with one. So, and so depending now on what you can give in collaboration, we know where to put you. You understand? We know where to at least put you, like, okay, you can just bring like your banner, you can just bring this one or
Mhm.
two things, yeah. But there are some ones that when we reach out to them, we see just their reaction. Just, yes, we say, okay, no, it means we don't, definitely will not work with you. And some people actually refuse totally. We have no problem. Yes, you must not work with everybody. That's just our
Mhm.
strategy. We just know that the one person we have to work with will definitely come, And when they come, that will be the right person. So if we reach out to you and you're not willing to work with us, we have no problem with that. We have no issues. You work with
Mhm.
other people, create your own impact. At the end, it's all about helping others, helping the community, making it a bigger, a safer one for everyone.
Mhm. What has been your biggest challenges, and how have you overcome them?
Biggest,
Challenges. What have been your biggest challenges, and how have you overcome them?
yeah, I think the biggest challenge, the first, we had like two challenges. The first was maybe like having the volunteers who are passionate, who understand what you're doing, and secondly, the fundings as well. So the first with the volunteers, at least I can say now that our volunteers actually know what the organization is all about, what we stand for, what we are fighting for, and everybody is passionate about it. And how did I do? I can say I got the maybe the tips during the Mandela Washington Fellowship, because we had one course where you actually learn about leadership, leaders and their strengths and weaknesses, how you can use other people's strength to actually complement maybe like your lower strengths or some of your weaker points. That was where I knew that you must not know everything. You cannot do everything. And how do you recruit volunteers? When I came back, like there was when I came back from the US, there was a complete shift in my volunteers, in my organization. There was a change, because from there I knew as I'm coming back, it cannot run the same way as it was before. If we want to reach out, if we want to be the NGO that is the NGO, we have to behave like how other NGOs do. Yes. Though we don't really pay them like on a monthly basis, we do like with depending on the project, how the project comes in, and that's where the motivation comes from. So we don't have like permanent employers or permanent staff. We have just volunteers. So before anybody enters the organization, we have now a procedure. We have like an interview. We interview you, because at first we're still, since we're still starting, many anybody who is just interested, we just bring them in. And now, yes, when many things have gone, because people now come in because they have seen where the organization has reached and where we can, how far we can go. So we need to be ready now to choose those who are really interested, who are passionate. And yes, exactly. So we do like we call a volunteer, we send applications, people sending their applications. After that, we do an interview. And after the interview, you have to go through one yearly network course on volunteerism and leadership. So once you do that, and we're giving you deadlines to see how prompt you are in this thing, you just see a mail and they just tell you when to do it and to submit it at this time. And before that time, those who submit, then that's when they are taken into. So they already know that to join now is no longer just because at first I usually just have people in the hospital, one or two people. I want to join, and that's how we and that was how we actually cut down more than about 50% had to leave because they did not reach that deadline. And I was ready at that moment. It was no longer friendship again, because it was the organization and the life of people we are about to change that is at stake. It's no longer about me and our friendship. No, it was about the impact and the organization. And from there, we had those people who were ready to work with us. And from there, we have been having people who are coming, and we see from the works that we are doing, their engagement during the activities, the sacrifices they make during the programs. We know that we have at least a good team, and we always make sure that we do leadership programs with them. I invite sometimes my mentors to come and talk about leadership, about volunteering with them, about the role of a volunteer. So when they come, they boost their this thing, and at least in a year now we have parties, and we we can create a Christmas party where we go and enjoy that. It's not only about working. We can also dine together and enjoy. Then we give now like a prize to the best volunteer of the year. which motivates them. Yeah, I think with that we have been able to overcome that challenge. And one main challenge again was
Let,
like funding.
let's
Okay. Mm-hmm.
yes, let's break down. Let's break down to the procedure you mentioned. You have your procedure.
Yeah.
So you have your call for application.
Mm-hmm.
People submit the application.
Yeah.
After that, they come to an interview directly based on what you see. You
On
call some of
those,
them or you
some
call all
of
of
them,
them.
not everybody, some the
Some of them.
people we have chosen.
So
Yes. Mm-hmm.
what are you looking for first in the application? What make you call them for the interview?
So at least with as a leader, I already know now what I'm looking for. You know, that time we're still just maybe naive about leadership. Now, as a
Mm-hmm.
leader, you're able to read in between the lines of people who are serious. We need to start knowing how maybe you can send a link, we can even check you. We check what you have been doing, how you present yourself, and all that. And even from the questions we ask, we see your passion for it. And that's those are the kind of things that we see, especially how committed you be, your passion. Then during the interview, we usually just ask like one or two questions. And the most important thing is, what do you know about talk pregnancy with Dr. Noella? And some people even come, even to call the name, they cannot call it. So we already know that you have not done your background search. You cannot be coming for an interview about this and you've not even searched what the program is all about, what it's doing. So it means you're not ready even. So those are some kind of one or two things that we check because it's very, very important. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you're looking for the commitment, the passion, and the how their own vision match with your
With us.
organization.
Yes, yes.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so that's the first thing.
That's the first
And then
thing.
you mentioned that they have to, if they are selected from the interview, they have to go through a 1 year of what? They
No,
have after the interview. What are they doing?
no, after the interview is a course that they have to take, the yearly
Okay.
network course. We give them, we send it to their email that you have been accepted. You have to do now
Okay.
this course and send your certificate before this day because after a yearly, and it's free.
Okay.
Yes, and it's free. It's a free
Okay.
course. Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay.
So once you do it,
Then if yeah.
mhm, once you do it, you just send the certificate because you have to pass the course before you are having the certificate. Yes. So you just send the certificate before this date. So there are some
Mm-hmm.
people, yes, there are some people who, first of all, we sent for invitations of this thing, interview, they did not even see.
Yes.
Yes, those who came, yes, we sent and they did not meet up with the course. Yes. And we did that with the present volunteers. It was not even like the others that were coming in when we wanted to do this change.
Mm,
Yes, when we wanted to do the
okay.
change. Because I did not know how I'm just going to start removing this one person. This is going to be
Yeah.
biased. Yes, it would have
Yeah.
been biased. Maybe I would have chosen people I like, people I do.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So in order to change the present team, that was the main thing. Because
Mm-hmm.
you can see I
Okay.
was having a lot of programs. I said, let's do this. You see one or two people coming up with the whole team.
Mm-hmm.
You see so you discover that they were there but they were not working. You had the team but they were not working. So how can you make them start working? Yes, so that was how I did to actually transform the team. But even now, those who are even coming in, those who want to volunteer with us, even when we call or people reach out to us to join, they still follow this process. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's nice. But I'm so wondering because in our context in Africa,
Mm-hmm.
people doesn't like to work
Mm-hmm.
without money.
Mm-hmm.
Still, even if you do all this, are they not going sometime to change their mind and feel like they're working for nothing? So why do they care?
Yeah.
How do they take care of their family? All these things.
No, that's
Have you
why.
faced this kind of
Yes,
thing?
yes. No, of course. We tell them exactly what it is all about and the commitment time. How it's going to say we are working, but on project based, maybe on you see, it's not like if you have your work and you tell us
Mm-hmm.
exactly too. That's why in the listing you tell us what you're doing. You tell us your job, and yes, and we ask
Mm-hmm.
you during the interview, you're working, you do this type of work. Will you be able to come? There are people who have their regular jobs, yes. Will you be able to come if we need you? They'll say yes, they are ready. They know how they can arrange their programs. And since though we're going to always be deciding on the days, everybody might choose a particular day which is convenient for everybody. Yes, so they'll see how they can also manage their own programs at work to be able to be there. Yeah, so that's how we do it now that we don't have permanent staffs. That's how we do. And even before that, in the case, in as much as you're coming to see volunteer, you need to volunteer rightly. It's not like you should just come and yes, just be there. And maybe there are people who need recommendations from us after that. You should not come and want to ask for recommendations when you have not done anything. And you need and doing that, it already shows that we are serious. So before you two are coming in, you have to be serious
Mm,
as well. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. So now the second challenge you have is the funding.
Yes. The second challenge was the fundings. And like we usually do just one or two fundraisings and maybe apply for one or two grants, which at least we had some few grants. But we had the project like this preconception care, we had to make it to actually screen over 500 people. We had projects at hand, but we did not know how to carry it about. We have applied for some grants, some we have gotten rejections. That one, I think everybody gets rejections. We said no,
Mm,
that's no problem. Those who want to work with us will work with us one day. And we tend to also do some one or two courses on grant writings so that we at least know the where we are going wrong and how we can correct them. And we were also lucky to be selected for one this thing, the Tadamon Crowdfunding Academy, where our organization and a team from our organizations and other organizations were trained on crowdfunding. That was something that I've always been seeing organizations doing that, carrying out activity to raise funds, doing one or two things with maybe they have raised this amount, is this amount left? I was like, how did they go about? So I did not really pay attention. So when we got through this, I was really glad with the mentor we had there during the academy. She really went through everything we did. And when we wanted to launch before, she said, is your team ready? Because 90% is about preparations. And once you start, it's not a problem. It is the preparation part that matters. So let me concentrate on that. Let me delay it a bit, concentrate, ensure that my team is ready. I mean, the team was, I don't know, this was the best time I saw my team committed to this. Yes, they were so committed. The person, what I did is part of the flyers that we do is a volunteer. I send them for training. There's someone who does graphic designing. We send them, go and learn graphic design and come and be doing the graphic designs for the organization. But now you too, you have learned your skills as graphic designer. You can be gaining money from somewhere on the graphic design. So he does the graphic designings for the organization, the videos. Me too, I'm there with video editings. I can edit videos so well. That was how we did with the graphic. That's why before we launch everything, the flyers, the videos were all ready. So we just had the times launch at this day. With the communication officers were already there. So we have a solid ESCO team, though they are very committed, and we also did that same procedure, especially with the interview, to get them, to get those who are committed as the ESCO members. So and they have really been really committed this time. And the communication team, they were ready. We had all the posters, everything about preconception, when to start, what to do, and so everybody had whatever they had to write. They just wrote the post and kept. So the communication officer this day just receives the poster and the post for that day. And we reach out with our connections and everybody. We even passed the amount that we needed. We raised more than the amount, both in cash and kind. Some people have donated.
wow.
Yes, people donated the maybe materials. People donated like the hall, the people donated everything. So we did not use 1 franc from our money. Even after the project, some people were still sending in their contribution. I was like, wow. Yeah, so that was the impact from that crowdfunding. It was really, really, really great. And I think that with that, it has made us sustainable. Even in the long run, if we have a project and we want to give this project out, we know how to do it. We know when to start. Yes, because we had to meet one or two problems during like getting the phone numbers, the bank account details. They all delayed us and all that. So with that, we learned a lot. And if we have to do, we know that we need to start early. We need to do this and this. Yeah. So I think with that, at least we can say we're a bit sustainable.
Mhm. That's great. So, how do people who want to continue help you now, reach out to you? Those who listen to us, how can they help you in your organization?
Yes, now I think we have our main project which is going on action on preconception care. We have reached out to, we have trained other organizations. We plan on training other organizations, not only in the Northwest region, reaching out to other regions. So we are also looking, seeing for how we can get funds and grants with that, partnerships as well, to be able to get this on ground so that many people know about this preconception care and how it's being practiced and how they can include it in their advocacy campaign. Yes, not talking about the other things and leaving one out. No, it's a whole bundle. It should be spoken all. You should not talk about only one. And it should not be that you don't even know about it. Yes, you
Yeah.
should know about it. Then maybe you can choose your own and go about it. And on our pages, we have our numbers on Talk Pregnancy with Dr. Nuela everywhere on all our social media pages. They can reach out to us, and we are ready to work at any time in order to promote the health of mother, children, and adolescents, decreasing maternal and neonatal mortality.
Thank you, Noela. So,
Thank
before we close,
you.
I wanted to know, how do you balance now your responsibility as NGO leader, mother, mentor, everything you are doing now?
That's always the question they ask. I always still say again that the strength comes from above, and God has always been my guide. And my children, they also understand when I do my video. They know, like now, when I'm doing my video, they know that they are playing. And when I come out, I even teach them sometimes how to do the video. They to do their own videos. They have their own channel. So I also empower them. I make sure they know that I am working. So I'm not just maybe going out and doing, I'm working. Sometimes the last project that we had on preconception care, they had to do a checkup. It's like a general checkup. I carry the whole family. You two come and check your health. I carry in my mother, everybody in the house. They came and checked themselves. They were like, oh, wow, there was one person, the blood pressure was high. Was oh my god, so my blood pressure is high. So you saw the fear in them. So that's the important. So they come to, even the children come, they volunteer. One, the first one was sharing flyers. So I put them involved. I make them involved. They know that this is not, it is not just about me. And two, I'm not doing it for myself. I'm also serving the community. And at the same time, empowering them. So I create time when I'm at home. I know that this is time for them. I create time for them. Even when I do sports, I do it with them. Let them also. That's like a bonding time. But at the same time, they are learning. So even with my husband, we do sports together. Those times are bonding times. I sit when it's weekend. I make sure that we can go out. I take them out. Let them know that this is time for work. This time for leisure. And I think all of them really understand that. I give them all the time that they need. And with work, once I'm at work, I'm at work. When I'm done with work, I leave and I do whatever thing I'm doing. When I'm at work, they know very well I finished with my patients. Once I'm calm, I'm sitting in my office still waiting for my, I start writing some of my contents for my YouTube videos and all that. So so it's like you need to be committed as a leader. You need to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. When people are sleeping, you are working. When they're sleeping, like when I do most of my YouTube content, when they are sleeping, I'm at work, I'm doing my videos. So that's how I do to balance all that, and God has actually been helping me. So I really um, tell other leaders out there, be ready, you can do it, you can do it. Just
Mm,
start.
mm,
Once you start, reach out to people, get
mm.
mentorship, just get one or two advice, attend leadership programs, and I think you'll be able to get to where you want to be.
Okay, thank you. Now, can you talk to a medical doctor listening to you?
Yeah, as a medical doctor, if you're out there and you want to maybe start up something, you want to give out to your communities, Sometimes weekends you're not doing one or two things. You might want to the time that you might take, maybe going out to go and enjoy. You can maybe go out to one community and just talk about it. Even in your church, you can just opt to just be giving maybe help tips once in a while. Just even write a small content and they read it during the news. Maybe during the announcement, they read one, two, or two tips from this doctor. That's how you start, and you serve your community not only in the hospital. You can serve your community even
Mm.
out of the hospital.
You can serve the community even out of the hospital. I think medical doctors sometimes forget that. What do you think?
Sometimes
It's like that.
is
It's like the whole is they're invested in their whole just being in the
in the
hospital.
hospital.
And when we ask about pain, but it's like they don't have to talk to the community freely about what is hurt, how can you take care of your hurt,
No,
and
it's no,
just
it's not really about that. There's some that there are people who are the clinical type that they are like based like, yeah, I'm in the hospital. That's where my passion is, and that's all. Yes, but even there, it's
mm,
just still about creating time to even communicate better to the patient, because that's really the most important thing. Because normally we have just one doctor seeing so many patients, you don't have time to really talk to them. So once in a while, if you can really create time to educate them even beyond just giving time to even listen, not only about prescribing, sometimes just listen to them, just give one or two advices for them before they go. It's still good. It's still not really going out into the communities, because not all doctors enjoy the community health type. Some are just for the clinical part. So that's it about with doctors. There's a clinicians and the community, the public health types. Yeah. So you focus on your own, and if you're doing it, you do it very well. And at the end, still
mm,
consider giving the holistic care to the patient.
thank you. That's
Thank
so
you too.
powerful. Holistic care. It resonates a lot with me in my research. You
Yeah.
know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Sure, sure, sure.
So, what legacy do you hope to leave behind you?
The legacy I hope to leave is, first of all, to decrease maternal and neonatal mortality. That's the first. And secondly, to inspire other young Cameroonian medical doctors to know that they have more in them, and they should be ready to step out of their comfort zone and reach out to their full potentials. Because just being a medical doctor, yes, you might have other things, other talents you can explore. So you can explore both at the same time. You can be a medical doctor and still sing in the choir, and still play the guitar, and still swim, and still do sports. Yes. So you can combine all that. So my this thing is to inspire medical doctors to be the best version of themselves. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Nola, for your time and for the inspiring interview. I hope people will enjoy
I
what you
hope
say
so.
there and that we learn a lot. Thank
Thank
you
you
so
too so
much.
much for having me.
Pleasure.
All right.
Okay, we are done now.
Okay.
You can